Hello, and as promised, I've got a little different kind of video today. It doesn't feature me sitting out in front of the camera. I get to do a little behind the scenes work here like I normally do for technical training when I'm doing developer training. So we're going to look at the pre and post labs that I had done. The pre-lab was done on August the 4th of this year, and the post-lab was done 26 days later on August the 12th. Both of these labs were done by laboratories in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they were not done by the physician who took the blood. They were sent off to a professional lab where detailed analyses were done. Now, what I've got it in is an Excel sheet. The front page is just the facts, where I break it into pre and post and notes and actually what is the test. But along here on the bottom, you'll notice the tabs where we've got summary, the pre-challenge original. If you double click this, it will open a PDF. So make sure you have some kind of PDF reading software, and this is so that you can see the actual paperwork. Now you'll notice I've blackened out some stuff because, well, I don't feel like sharing my social. I don't feel like sharing a few things. But I did share all the tests for the pre. There's 3 pages to that one, I believe. And then the post is another one. You simply double click it again and you can see the numbers here. But rather than having you dig through the tests, I have put them in this summary tab so that you can see what they were on the 4th, what they were on the 30th, what their mean percent change is, and the normals, minimum and maximum. Please note that if there is a 0, it indicates that anything below this number is good. And if you see a 1000, it means that there is no maximum limit defined. I'm not saying there's no maximum limit, because there probably is, but not one defined on these original sheets. And I believe I used all of the numbers from the actual post, the norms that they cite over here on the right side. Again, you can just double click the document. It'll expand it into Adobe Acrobat Reader and you can go. So let's go through it. First of all, what's my overall impressions? Well, I'm stunned. And I want to quote my doctor today, who went over it with me. He was very, very patient. We spent over an hour looking at pre and post, going over what every test was. And not every test is outlined here. There are more that we don't particularly care about, but they are all in the documents on tab 2 and 3. So we kind of outlined some of the ones that were more interesting and put them here, because these are ones used to gauge overall basic and even not so basic health. So, like I said, the initial shock that I felt once we started going through these still hasn't faded, and we're 12 hours from my briefing this morning. The lab results, I know I spoke in the video about the physical changes and the subjective changes. But I gotta tell you, after looking at these lab results, I think the lab results may actually exceed the subjective results. Either way, you take an average of the two of them, and the 24-day challenge is an incredible experience, not just for your life, but for your body. I mean, my body is a walking catastrophe. Radiation certainly doesn't do the body good. I'm living proof of that. People around me will tell you, ups and downs, and it's really a tough thing. But you look at these numbers, and you look at what the products did, and we'll go through them, the important ones, and it is almost unbelievable. But that's why I put the pre and post, the original paperwork here. I'm stunned. We're going to rerun the test in 3 months, and we're going to see where I am at that time. I'm not going to give you a weight figure today. So let's go through this. The cholesterol, right? The green, you'll note, denotes good, borderline, and bad is red. And pre and post, I wanted to show some distinction between where we went. Okay, so the total cholesterol measures what's your total cholesterol. Anything for a 37-year-old male between 125 and 200 is good. So you look at the change here, you say, yeah, but it went up a little bit. Who cares? We're still way, way within my window. HDL cholesterol, which is here. This is what they call your good cholesterol. For a 37-year-old male, 40 would be a minimum, and there's no maximum defined. But you certainly want to be above 40. Now I've made progress in that direction, but I'm not quite there yet. LDL cholesterol. This is bad cholesterol. I don't know how else to describe it to you. But you'll see that my bad cholesterol, even though it's up a little bit, I am still well within the range of what they would consider healthy. I was before and I am after. Now there's a ratio that they take between these two to denote LDL to HDL, and my ratio's actually gotten better. So even though this one's still a little bit low, my ratio's gotten better. So we're in the right direction, and I think some of this genetic, I mean, the doctor was saying today, genetic for this one, but we do see almost a 6% change. So we'll see in 90 days where I am. Here again, we're great. Triglycerides. This is bad stuff. This is where our body stores unused calories. They say it results from really starchy foods, high carb foods. You know, there's been a lot of comedy made about it. You know, pork rinds and all these bad things that we eat on a daily basis. Now I am a little different in the fact that I wasn't eating poorly before the challenge, but if you look, 169 is way over the max, and now I've fallen to 142. Like I said, in 26 days. So I'm down almost 16% in 26 days. That's amazing. Am I going to fall further? Boy, I hope so. There's certainly room I can still continue to come down. But this is incredible, 15%, almost 16. Now we get down to the numbers that are really important. Remember I talked about prednisone. And prednisone is like, it's like a sinister friend. I need it, but at the same time, you know, if the radiation didn't kill me, the prednisone eventually would. So tapering off, we hoped, and you know, with reductions in weight, better health, a whole bunch of things, even some of the products putting effects on my liver. And this is where the doctor was just floored. If we look at the alkaline phosphatase, that's a tongue twister. What it does, it measures one of the enzymes in the liver called ALP. They use it to look at if it's out of range, it could indicate liver damage. Not necessarily by itself, but it's an indicator, one of three, that they look at in a basic test. So we can see that the normal would be 40 to 115. I started at 57. I ended at 47. So it's still great. Down 18%. Still above that min, looking good. These two, the AST and the ALT, are the two big ones they look at, right? Aspartate aminotransferase, I can't even say it. He says it really fast, rolls right off the tongue. I'm not going to try to do it. I'm just going to call it AST. You'll see I went from 58 to 28. We want 10 to 40. So I was way over in the beginning, and now I am well within normals at, you know, 52% decrease. That's stunning. The ALT, 105 to 66. You know, we're looking at 9 to 60 is what we want. Down 37%, but definitely headed in the right direction. I would hope that in the next 90 days all of these are normal. But you've got to understand, I haven't been at these numbers over here now, where I am now. 2 greens and 1 yellow is a heck of a lot better than 1 green and 2 reds. Okay? So this is amazing. This is great. Tells me the liver's doing better, this fat's being stripped off. It's been mentioned, and I got another ultrasound coming up, but get that fat away from that liver. They've got a fatty intrusion of the liver. I've had MRIs and CAT scans. Prednisone just dumps that fat, and one of the places, unfortunately, is around our livers. It can cause cirrhosis, a whole bunch of other bad things, but we can see that I'm definitely headed in the right direction, and given that this is just 20-something days, off the charts. Great stuff. Get down here into the calciums and the glucose. These are two of the basic ones down here on the bottom I want to talk about. The calcium measures the amount of calcium in your blood. Now, people who take prednisone, their bones, if they take it over a long period of time, especially at high doses, which I asked my doctor once, what's a high dose of prednisone? And he said anything over 10 milligrams is considered a high dose. Now, that's subjective. I'm sure other doctors will use other numbers. That's his number. I was taking 20. So calcium, and even guys and women, osteoporosis is a big concern. So we can see that at 20 milligrams in the beginning, I was running an 8.6. Well, the minimum is 8.6. So yeah, there is some evidence that my calcium was down. And at the end of it, it doesn't seem like a lot of change, but we're talking about almost a 10% increase in calcium. Now, is that a result of the 10 milligrams, or is it a result of the shakes and some of the amino acids and some of the other ones? I would guess it's a mixture of all the above. I don't care what it is. 10% I'll take. Glucose serum. This is a test that they do. It can be an indicator for a whole bunch of things. Pre-diabetics, people that are typically overweight, and I started at 218. I was borderline obese if you go by the numbers. I talked about this in video 1. Yeah, but you're on prednisone. I got tired of hearing that stuff, and so the 100 indicates that yes, I was above what they would consider maximum pre-diabetic. Doesn't mean I'm diabetic. Didn't mean I needed any medicines, but I was definitely on my way to bad things down the road. And this number's been steadily climbing for a couple of years. But we can see that I took a 4% chunk out of it. So, hey, it's in the right direction. 28 days. I think in the next 90 we'll get even lower. So we are now in what would be considered a healthy range. Now, I certainly want to get closer to 75 than 99. Okay. And you can go through some of these others. You know, these are liver enzymes. There's some other things that I get kind of graphic, but you need to know what they are. But all of them are normal. None of them are hugely changed, and they're all green. So all good news down here. So if we go through and we scored this thing, you know, I went from 5 reds and 1 yellow to 2 yellows and 0 reds. So the blood work says that this challenge did way more than I could have ever imagined it would inside my body. And these next 30 days, I'm going to go over some of the things I'm going to be doing in the coming days. It's almost 10 o'clock tonight, so I won't do it tonight probably. But the next 30 days, and indeed the next 90 days till my next blood test, I can't wait. And that sounds like a lunatic. I can't wait to go get my blood taken again, because I am bent on getting all greens, and not just greens, but we're talking about try to get myself down to, you know, midpoint, 50 to 70% of midpoint. So we'll see where we end up. So I hope this helped. I'm gonna put this out there. I did, like I said, I colored some stuff out, but you can still see all the tests. There's some of you, I'm sure, that are much more medically inclined than me. I grabbed the highlights that kind of, with the doctor today, we went over, and you know, I could have put it in pretty graphs and stuff, but I'd rather get the numbers out there, let each of you look at these, and for goodness sakes, the message of all of this is my body was a catastrophe. Radiation, medications, and then medications for the side effects of the medications. That if the challenge can do this for me, if the challenge can take my body from 5 reds and 1 yellow bad to no reds and 2 yellows, of which both of those yellows used to be red, which means I'm on my way to green, it, in my opinion, could help everyone. So if you're on the fence, send me an email, dean@advovet.com. If there's obstacles in your way to get on this 24-day challenge, let's talk about it. Let's see if there's something we can do, because I think if we can get this kind of scientific data out there, it'll put to rest a lot of the fears people have about the supplement industry as a whole. Advocare is different. They get their products tested. Their products work. These numbers, at least on the surface, prove they work. The ultrasounds where they looked inside of me came back great. So inside and outside, and even now the numeric values to go with it, show that not only does it work, the results are drastic, to quote my doctor, and I can do even better. There's still areas I can do better, and over the next 90 days, you have my oath, I will do better. So we'll revisit this in 90 days and take another look at it. So there's going to be another video in a couple of days. I thank you all. I'm not going to edit this at all. It's going to be raw. I'm going to put it up. I will put the chart, the Excel sheet where you can download it. It'll be on my Facebook, dean.bortel.1. For those of you that don't know it and look in my videos, I've always got it written on the board in the back. I'll make sure that you can download this and take a look at it yourself. If there's anything I can do to help you, please reach out to me, because this is beyond my wildest dreams. The 24-day challenge, subjectively and now scientifically, blew away my biggest, my most ambitious goals. I'm stunned, I'm happy, and I would love to help you. So thanks for your time, thanks for your attention, and good night.